I'd like to call the Thursday, October 17th, 2019 Board of Education meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Roll call.
Chairman Papa-Holzer, Vice Chair Anafrio.
Here.
Secretary Sienna.
Here.
Janet Balsamo.
Here.
Carolyn Candelora.
Here.
Vincent Hayes.
Here.
Cynthia Rice.
Salute to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any visitors' comments? Okay. Student reps, we have our new gentleman tonight.
Before we begin, in fairness to Mr. Little, he was not at the first meeting.
Right.
He had a previous engagement. Did you have a tracker?
Job.
Oh, job. You're working too. I'm going to add that to the list. So I'm going to embarrass him a little bit. So I read his bio, but he wasn't here, so I want him to hear from me what we said at the last one. Freddie is a 4-year secretary for the class of 2020. He has been a very positive student at the high school, has gotten involved with many extracurricular activities, including the greenhouse, automotive technology, construction, video and TV production. He, as I mentioned, was on the cross-country team, indoor and outdoor track. He's a leader with our dream team, and he's a member of the Environmental Science Club, and I know he's in the throes of looking at his college options now and applying, but he's just been an outstanding member of our senior class. He's always involved, very compassionate, very caring young man, so we're happy to have you here, Freddie.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Would you like to give us a little report?
That's your
So, as a part of the post-high school planning process, college administration personnel have been visiting North Branford throughout the month of September and October. Juniors and seniors have provided access with our representatives. Guidance personnel have also continued with senior conferences that include parents. The annual financial aid workshop took place on October 9th with 2 sessions offered, 5 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. Parents signed up ahead of time with Mrs. Sator, NBHS guidance director, taking the lead with the support workshop. The annual T-Bird Fair for 8th grade parents and 8th grade students took place on October 10th. The event included video presentations, tours, and an activity fair. Several students volunteered during the day and during the evening. Mr. Glutz and Mrs. Caballero took the lead of the support event once again. The National Honor Society induction ceremony is scheduled for October 22nd. The ceremony has been moved to the fall so that students have a greater opportunity to be involved with the program throughout their entire junior and senior years. The annual NBHS Wellness Fair is scheduled for October 24th. This event has moved to the fall also in order to better balance school-wide events that occur throughout the year. And that's it.
Thank you.
Wasn't so bad, was it?
Thank you, that was great. I'm going to just take 1 minute to introduce Martha Vaughn. I don't want to wait till we're almost done with our board meeting here for her report, our new business and personnel manager. So welcome. Thank you.
As we mentioned prior to the board meeting starting, that Ms. Vaughn has 19 years, she's in her 20th year of experience, and 13 years in the Haddam-Killingworth district prior to that in East Haven. So we're very fortunate to have Ms. Vaughn here, and very pleased that she came on board with us. So she just completed her first week on the job.
She's coming back, that's a good thing. Okay, then I'll move on to the minutes of the meeting. Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll move to approve the minutes of the September 19, 2019 Board of Education meeting as submitted.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain? Okay. Superintendent has received a resignation from Ms. Jessica Baruch, guidance counselor, 1 year only at North Branford Intermediate School, effective Friday, October 18th, 2019. So I'll accept a motion.
I move to approve the resignation of Ms. Jessica Baruch, guidance counselor, 1 year only, at North Branford Intermediate School, effective Friday, October 18, 2019.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Nay? No?
Did you want me to make the motion?
Go right ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda of the October 17, 2019 Board of Ed meeting.
A second.
Do you have to all in favor?
I'm sorry.
Do you have to all favor?
All in favor?
Any discussion on it?
I can't.
What are we amending?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't done that. At first, I have to do.
For executive
to amend.
session.
Gotcha.
So, a motion for executive session. So, did you hear that, Vince?
No.
Can you just say it a little
All
louder?
right. To amend the agenda of the Board of Ed meeting tonight. That's the first one, motion. Then if we agree to that, then I have other motions that I want to put up.
And it's going to be under what article number, what item number?
A, B, appointments,
A, B appointments.
which is the next one.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so I'd like to make a motion to add discussion and action regarding agenda item 8B, appointments.
Second.
Discussion.
Any discussion?
I'm confused. It says appointments, none at this time.
Well, we have one to
Right,
add.
that's
We
what
need
you
to
wanted to
add
add.
one.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to add one.
All
That's,
right.
it came up after
That's
the,
what I'm not hearing.
okay. It came up after the board packet was sent out. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstention? Okay.
All right, so I'd like to make a motion to approve the appointment of Ms. Charlotte Papa, a one-year guidance counselor at North Branford Intermediate, to be paid in accordance with the contract between North Branford Board of Education and the Federation of Teachers at Master's Step 1.
Second.
Any discussion? So somebody just resigned and we're filling the position. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstention? No? Okay. We're good there? Superintendent's report.
Thank you. The board briefs are attached in your handouts. I don't think there's too much to go over with them. If there's any questions at this time, the administrative team is here. The building's very busy. They're off to a great start. We've had to obviously work within the restrictions with the EEE. We've had to change a lot of outdoor nighttime events and sporting events and events at the schools. And I want to thank the administrative team, the athletic director, for really working together to make sure that we can accommodate and give our students the opportunities to still have the events, but keeping in mind that, you know, safety is first and foremost. So I certainly appreciate that. We have 2 field trips that I'm going to ask you to approve this evening. They are 2 overnight out-of-state field trips, so I will need your vote on that to do that. The first request is from Kate Ladano, who is our instrumental music teacher and department head at North Branford High School, for a trip to Florida in April for, I believe, 4 days. And this is in conjunction with our partnership with the East Haven Co-op Marching Band. And they've been invited to participate in the Magic Kingdom Parade.
That's cool.
I've been fortunate enough over the years to attend these events, and they are spectacular. It's a lifetime memory for the band members to be able to travel and compete and experience that at a venue that is second to none. And there's a number of chaperones that will be going from East Haven and North Branford. I don't know, I've sent out the updates of our marching band, and I get them up on the school sign. We never lose. Where are you? Where's Mr. We never lose. I mean, it's amazing. How many are in the band? 40 kids total? 52. So for a small marching band with the color guard, the flags, and everything, it's incredible the success they have all over the state and in New England. And you had them here last year. We had a chance in the auditorium. But they continue to just grow and get better and better. So I hope you're taking that as an endorsement from the superintendent to approve the trip. They're here tonight. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them.
Do you need chaperones?
They have plenty of chaperones going to Disney.
I have a question.
Yes.
You said there's 52 in the bands. Down here under number of pupils, it says approximately 52, 9 North Branford High School. So only 9 from our high schools? What is, could you just clarify that?
Correct. The question is the breakup of, we have 9 high school from us and 40, whatever the difference, 43.
Okay, so not the 52 that are in our band, but just 52 are going, only 9 from North.
9 from our
Okay.
school.
I just want clarification. Okay.
And our 9 really stand out.
I'll make a motion to approve the East Haven North Branford Co-op Marching Band Field Trip request to travel to Florida from April 23rd to April 26th, 2020.
Second?
Discussion? How about a roll call vote?
Vice Chair Anafrio?
Yes.
Secretary Sienna?
Yes.
Janet Balsamo?
Yes.
Carolyn Candelora?
Yes.
Vincent Mace?
Yes.
Cynthia Rice?
Yes.
Okay, I thank you for your support. The second out-of-state overnight request from the high school is to Hershey, Pennsylvania. Again, Ms. Lodano, instrumental music teacher and department leader, and then Nick Philippides, our choral music teacher, are requesting to travel with approximately 80 North Branford students to compete in the Music in the Park Festival in Hershey Park from May 15th through the 17th. There's a copy of everything included in the board packet as well. So again, because it's an overnight, if there's any questions of Ms. Lodano, is Mr. Philippides here? Yes? No, Mr. Philippides? He's not here. No, Matt's here, I see Matt.
I'm
Mr.
here on behalf of the...
Oh, Mr. Philippides.
Louise not.
Okay, so we're on this, I'm looking around, I don't see him. We're on the same page. I know you're not, Mr. Philippides. Any questions on the, Hershey?
I would just like to make a comment. I went to Guilford and we did Hershey Park and we did the competition and there was nothing cooler than marching underneath those Hershey Kiss. I can still remember it. It was so cool because they have the Hershey Kiss lights. And I'm really happy that, I know I had a great time, so I'm glad that the kids can have this opportunity. I can never say I went to Disney with the band, but I definitely did the Hershey Park thing. So I'm glad you guys have the opportunity. Enjoy.
That's an endorsement. I'm taking that. That's one yes vote. Thank you. So that's it if there are no other questions for Mrs. Lodano.
Any other question? I'll make an motion to approve the North Branford High School Instrumental and Choir Music Field Trip request to travel to Hershey, Pennsylvania from May 15th to May 17th, 2020.
Second?
Any further discussion? Roll call?
Vice Chair Anafrio?
Yes.
Secretary Sienna?
Yes.
Janet Balsamo?
Yes.
Carolyn Candelora?
Yes.
Vincent Mace?
Yes.
Cynthia Rice?
Yes.
Again, thank you. And the last one that I'm going to just inform you of, we do not need to vote on. Ms. Lodano, again, our instrumental music teacher, they're going to be traveling to Allentown, Pennsylvania on Saturday, November 2nd. Again, with the East Haven Co-op Marching Band, we're going to participate in the United States Band's A-Class National Championships. So this is obviously a great honor. I'm guessing you have to qualify to go to that.
In a sense, yes. So your standing has to do with having to do the in-season, and then the weekend before is the state and New championships.
Okay.
And based on that, it's sort of it's like your seed at nationals.
So obviously quite an honor to be performing there for the East Haven and North Branford students. You're going to go down and back in one day?
Yes.
Wow. I'm not going on that trip. I'll cheer for you. So that's just for information.
Oh, good luck. Good luck.
Any questions before the Lodano's leave? Anything with the band and music program?
No, just
Thank
have
you.
fun.
I want to
Have
thank you
fun.
both for obviously not only supporting our music programs, but giving them lifetime experiences. These are things, as Ms. Candelora spoke to about, you never forget, that time and being with your friends and participating. And it takes a lot to take students out of state overnight. It's a huge responsibility, and you give up your time to do it. You're not compensated for it to do those trips. You take it on your own. So I personally want to thank you, and I appreciate everything you do for our students. Thank you. Absolutely. Okay. Enrollment. I'm going to
No, you
pass
missed,
the,
did you skip one? You want to talk about skip one?
International travel.
International travel?
oh. Okay, let me put my glasses back on. This is not something we need to vote on this evening. It's something that Mr. Steffler requested for me to put back onto the agenda. We've had trips in the past, we've discussed these types of things, and they want to bring up potential for another trip. So that being said, Mr. Steffler is here to answer any questions that the board may have regarding the request. I'm assuming, Mr. Steffler, it's from one of our language departments?
Yes, World Language is said so.
Okay.
Has worked on 3 tentative proposals with one of our department members, and in the past, we did overseas travel, was basically doing every other year, balancing between world language and social studies / English. We haven't done this in a while, so we're just looking for some guidance as to how far to go with getting a proposal on your desk for an official request. We have 3 tentative proposals for the 21 spring, so it's not this coming year, it'll be a year out, so kids have an opportunity to fundraise.
Right.
It'd be during April vacation. With the 3 proposals, the kids would miss anywhere between 1 and 2 school days around that April vacation week. So it wouldn't be a lot of time missed out of class. So we just need some direction whether to continue investigating and pursue an official proposal for approval, or if it's something that we'll hold on for now.
I think it's a great idea.
Places out there.
Madrid and areas around Madrid.
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the kids, to be quite honest.
Is it open up to about how many kids or anyone?
Generally, the target would be somewhere between 20 and 30, because then it generates how we effectively can staff it with chaperones of our own staff. One of the companies that we've used in the past is the proposal that we have for this tentative trip as well, that we're very satisfied with. It involves a very full agenda. They've given us drafts of the agenda to keep the kids moving and scheduled, if you will, for a full experience. And the last time that we had done a trip and I had gone, the tour guides were from the native land, and that would be incorporated in the ACES proposal, not ACES. You're familiar with a company called ACES that does travel for school systems.
I can only speak for myself, but I think it's a great idea. Carry on.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
2 of my daughters went to Ukraine in high school. It was fantastic for them.
To where?
Ukraine.
I don't think we're going there now, but, and just,
Yeah.
I can speak that we follow the international
Right.
travel report. So if there was something that, and they mark the level of threat to going to certain places, and we obviously would keep everyone apprised of anything that potentially was going on in the world that could alter our decision to go to a place. But certainly to Spain, I think it's pretty safe to go to now.
Sure. Love to see the proposals. Carry on.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments on that? All right. Enrollment is going to come around now. There's really not much to report. You'll see it broken out by individual teacher classroom size, all the way down to the far right with the October 1 enrollment of 1652.
Marcy.
We're going to do the students next.
Okay.
Okay with enrollment?
I can't see it.
Can't see.
I can't see it yet. Okay, now I can see it.
What bigger print?
I swear.
Okay, if there's no questions regarding enrollment report?
Let's move on to the fun stuff.
Okay, so the best part of the evening. We have from Tucket Valley Elementary School our student leadership presentation. We have a number of students here this evening who have been taking part in many opportunities at Tucket Valley. Tucket Valley has really put a great deal of effort into developing leadership skills for our youngsters in a variety of different ways and venues, and they're going to speak to that. I was fortunate recently, I forwarded the email to you about our Young Leadership Conference where we coupled with the Waterford school system, and we had over 100 students working collectively with our high school students and representatives from each school, and coming together to build leadership skills and to teamwork. And it was fantastic to see these learning opportunities for developing leadership skills. We have Jackie Thurston, Jillian Colonies, and Annie Maselli here this evening. I think they're all here. I know that Jackie's here. I saw Jackie. Jackie's here. You heard me speak about Jackie with her international travels. You see her on the poster. She's famous now. And she's here live tonight to talk about our young leaders and what they've been doing at Tucket Valley. So, Dr. Walsh, I'm going to turn it over to you at this time. And we'll
I'll ask Jackie to come on up, and members of the Student Senate at Tucket Valley. You're fortunate tonight to have some current members of our Student Senate program. And we also are very fortunate tonight, we brought some 6th graders who were part of our program last year. They're going to speak to you as well about what it was like to develop student leadership at a young age, how that's impacting them in the middle school. And you're going to hear a lot of different ways that we try to develop these qualities in our students. We really refashioned this program this year to make it more student government based, but also a lot of involvement within the school and the community. We know that kids at a young age have great leadership potential, and we really look forward to all the great work that they're going to do. And of course, Ms. Thurston does a fantastic job along with Ms. Colleagues and Ms. Maselli with our students, so I'll turn it over.
Parents, feel free to get up and take pictures, though.
Yeah, why don't you guys come on here so you get recognized. I want to thank the parents and the student reps that showed up tonight. These are our Student Senate representatives that got voted into their position this year, as well as some of the 6th graders who were huge leaders and last year that came back to kind of talk to you about the actions that they took. TVS understands the importance of building leadership skills in our children to be productive, caring citizens of the world. We do this through several venues. Our Student Senate is a huge way. These students act as the catalyst and the voice of the student body to the administration and the teachers. We also attended the CAS Little Leaders Conference, which we hosted here in North Branford, as you know, and there's another leadership conference coming up in the future. The 6th graders are going to talk about working towards the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals that we've been talking. The big part of that is how to take action on your passions. So the world has a lot of things going on. What did these students do to take that passion and run with it and take action and watch that action in motion? And then last is Project Adventure, which is a huge program that we run after schools and over the summer. And we're fortunate to have a lot of these students be a part of that as well, which builds leadership skills. So I was hoping I could turn this on for a presentation, if you don't mind. Although this computer doesn't, I don't know if this is going to cooperate. It was on there, I swear. It doesn't. While she's getting that up, I just want to say a few things about this group of students. They're going to talk mostly, so you don't have to hear me speak that much, but these guys exemplify what it means to be a global citizen, what it means to be bettering the world. And I'm so proud of each and every one of them, and a lot of them, we have 3rd grade representatives, 4th and 5th, as well as the 6th grade coming back to us, and every single day I see these guys in action. Every day they're coming up to me, Miss Thurston, we have so many ideas, we cannot wait to tell you. Like, we want to do this is important, the kids want change, this is what we're going to do about it. So the passion that these students show us is inspiring and amazing, and you're seeing it 8-year-olds, 8 to 11-year-olds, so I just want to point that out. But if this doesn't work, we can move forward, because I'm going to start with Student Senate. Like Dr. Welch said, it is like a government-run. Daniela, you're going to speak first. Daniela is a 5th grade representative. She's just going to explain how do you get into Student Senate. So just read your paper and tell them what you did in order to get into Student Senate.
Do you need one of the lights on? Can you see the lights on? You're okay? Okay.
Hi, my name is and say a speech for public goals such as to make more events in the school. And my classmates voted for me. I hope that not just my classmates have a good year, but everyone in the school has a good year.
Thank you, Daniela. And Mason? Okay, Mason, right up there in the front.
Speak right up here.
So Mason's just going to talk about what Student Senate actually means to him.
Hi, my name is Mason Agostino, and I'm from 5th grade. The reason Student Senate is important to the community and TDS is because it gives the student a voice to share their opinion and their ideas. Every student should be heard by a Student Senate rep, and their ideas and thoughts will hopefully be heard and brought to the committee of the school, and changes will be made to make the school a better place.
Thanks, Mason.
I'm glad to be in Student Senate because I get to be the leader of my class and the school. We bring important information back to our classes and we sign up for different committees like the game team, community projects, global citizens, school improvement, and morning announcements, which helps our school be a better place for everyone.
And this is the photo of the 2019 Student Senate members. Each, like they said, each member was elected by their class. They had to give a speech about their leadership qualities and the changes they'd like to see in the school. And each class voted them in, so congratulations to that group. These are some of the committees that they can sit on: Green Team, School Improvement, Global Citizens, Campaigns, Fundraising, School Events, Welcoming Committee, Morning Announcements. So you see they're involved in a lot of aspects of the school. The next thing I want to talk about is the Little Leaders Conference that we just hosted and attended. Who's Gavin? Gavin's going to speak about his experience at Little Leaders.
My name is Gavin, and I am a student senate rep from Miss Silver's class. This is my second time going to the Little Leaders Conference, and I enjoyed it. We were able to meet with kids from Waterford, and we got to learn and attend workshops with them. One of my favorite activities was learning about empathy and how to be kind and nice to others. I also liked learning about the global goals and learning how to take my code and make the earth a better place. I liked working with other kids and getting to meet kids and be active. And those are a couple things that I liked about the Little Leaders Conference.
Offered a lot of different breakout sessions, including learning about the global goals, problem solving, leadership superpowers, being a leader versus a boss, effective communication, empathy, and kindness, and it was a wonderful experience. I can't wait to be a part of it in the future. These are some photos from the conference. This is about the global goals. These are 6th graders. We actually brought in our students from last year that were large leaders in our community and had them teach some of the breakout sessions. So this was focused on how are they going to change the world? What are they passionate about and why do they care? The global goals is a huge focus in Totucket Valley at this time. How to teach the students to take action, how to make the world a better place. So I want to have my 6th graders come on up. I'm insanely proud of these students, Sophia, Abby, Matthew, and Sophia. I worked very closely with them last year, and I was hoping that they could speak a little bit. Abby, I'm going to have you start, just saying, I know, you're so excited about that? Yeah, you just did such a nice job. These were the guys that helped me run the Little Leaders Conference. But Abby, just tell a little bit about the global goals and how you ended up taking action with Dr. Welch.
So the global goals are 17 goals that the United Nations wanted to complete by 2030 or 2020. And what we did to help that was me, Matthew, and Jacob, who isn't here today. But we worked together and found out that we have a recycling bin in every single room. the entire TVS except a lunchroom. That doesn't make any sense. So we talked to Ms. Thurston, and we were like, oh, can we like have a meeting with Dr. Loesch to talk about this? And me and Matt went, and we had a 20-minute conference about why we should have the recycling bin in there, how it would impact the environment if we had it in there. And I also talked about, I remember during recess, me and my friends, we would walk around the entire schoolyard and we would pick up trash because people walk there on like weekends and stuff and they just leave it there. So we would talk about that. It was,
Yes, thank you, Abby.
we did eventually get that recycling.
Yeah, they got that. So they were able to have a passion. They're like, Miss Thurston, there's no recycling bin. What is wrong with this? And they came and we're like, okay, we're gonna set up a meeting. We're gonna get it done. And guess what? They got recycling in the cafeteria. They made it happen. Sophia, I want to talk a little, just one sentence about the awareness piece, about spreading awareness.
Well, spreading awareness is like with the waste, that you don't want to like waste it because we have one Earth, and obviously the one Earth is where we are right now. And it's our only Earth, so we have to keep it clean. And to spread awareness, you could get a reusable bag from the store, just like my mom does. and you could also recycle, like we have a recycling bin at home, just when we're finished with the empty bottles and stuff. And back to the recycling bin thing, we got TVS done, now we just need MBIS.
Okay. Watch out for these guys.
Hey, I ate lunch with you guys.
So Sophia was really passionate and she decided, Miss Thurston, I want to spread awareness. She got on the morning announcements every day for a week and told the facts about climate change and plastic pollution and things that are affecting Earth, just to spread that awareness and make that aware. Matthew was a big part of the recycling. Do you want to say a few words?
Sure. So a big part of the recycling, after we got the recycling bin from the cafeteria, we realized, wow, that was a good idea. We could do that again. So we went to Miss Thurston. She was a big help in this and we decided to create a club to help spread awareness and help our school stay greener. This is the green team. I don't know if you remember, but they said I don't make anything.
So they were the founders of the Green Team. They were like, we need more of this. We need to make a change. So they actually developed the Green Team, and they hosted interviews, they had applications, they picked students from around the school that they thought would fit really well in the Green Team, and they made it happen. They were the creation of the Green Team. So I would have to give them a round of applause. Would you rather wait for Project Venture because you wrote it down? Sophia was a big part of this too. She wanted to do a school garden, so she researched the benefits of school garden. You want to say a couple words, or you want to? Yeah, go ahead.
So me and one of my peers, we really wanted a school garden because we wanted everybody to have access to fresh fruits and vegetables inside of our cafeteria, because they play such an important role in keeping us healthy and keeping our minds sharp in school. So we wanted everybody to have access to that, and the idea was to grow various fresh fruits and vegetables that we could serve in our cafeteria at lunch, or we could donate to local food pantries, or
I loved it. So she did a ton of research and came up with all the benefits of the school garden. And as you can tell, these four exemplify leadership at TVS. I mean, they're alumni now, so you guys are lucky enough to have them down at MBIS. But I was so excited that they came down here tonight to kind of share some of the things. And these student Senate members will be the next generation of that. So can we give them a round of applause? One last thing, Sophia, just do there really quick. Sophia Sorrell. Yeah, you guys can come over here. So the last thing is Project Adventure is a program that's been running at TVS for a long time. I've been a part of it for 14 years. It's taught in physical education in 4th and 5th grades. I also run the after-school program and the camps over the summer.
Sophia's been a big part of, she's done all of my programs and my summer camp. That's a good example to teach team building, collaboration, problem solving, challenge by choice. Sophia's just gonna read a little bit about what that's meant in her life as far as leadership. She's so happy I'm making her speak here.
Project Adventure was a team building and physical education group that I took part in. It taught me leadership skills and made me feel that I was a better leader. It helped me communicate with my peers, work with my classmates in a positive environment. And it helped all of us socialize and talk about something we are passionate about and make friends with kids who have the same interests as us. In the activities we did, I learned about problem solving as well as team building. And through this program, I was able to strengthen my socializing, team building, and leadership skills.
Yes. Thank you so much. So here's some pictures of our project adventure. We also go out in the woods and play and build forts and do things like wilderness survival skills too in some classes. Some of our higher ropes elements that we are lucky enough to have at TBS. Some of the past classes. I will say we're really excited that we have even more project adventure equipment being installed as we speak over the next 3 days. We cleared out a big area of the woods and we got 3 massive elements to add low elements, including the Whale Watch, the Mohawk Walk, and a few other elements so that we can even build that program more. And I will say, of all the programs I'm involved in, Project Adventure is one that I see the most growth, and I see students coming out of their comfort zones and really challenging themselves, both physically and emotionally, and it's really, really powerful. So, as you can obviously tell, leadership is alive at TBS. We're very proud of the skills that these students are learning, but also just the passions they exemplify and what they care about, and all that they do for our school. So I'm just gonna have you guys come stand over here so we can get one nice group picture, but that essentially is leadership at TBS at this time.
Can the young leaders just go around and shake hands with the board? Every board meeting we have a presentation.
Go ahead, shake
Just
their
so they
hands,
can
right
say,
around
come
the
in
sun,
front,
here.
right in front.
Right in here, Mason.
Just watch the two boards. Step up right over the board. There you go.
Good job. Good job. Thank you.
Oh.
Good job. Good job. Good job. Great job. Good job. Very nice. Great job. Excellent. Thank you. Good job.
And then take a picture too. Nice job.
Good job.
Very brave.
Good job. Thank you for part of this. Good job.
When you're done, we'll put you right here for a picture.
Nice.
And nice neat
Great
row.
job.
Thank you so much.
Awesome job.
Right in there. Come on over. Right over here. Yeah,
You can sneak out anytime, but it's a great time now, like.
Yeah, usually you just do your thing and go.
Go do your homework. Go do your homework. Absolutely. Go do your
Yeah, usually
homework.
you do your thing and then you get out. Unless if you want to hear it. If you want to hear it, you can. But if you got things to do.
I'm short. I'm not in that picture.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for coming. So you're all done.
Out.
Oh, it's not sitting there.
Oh, thank you. My legs were freezing, the air was just like.
It was so hot.
It was so hot here
So
before,
far,
I thought I was gonna die. No.
Yeah.
You need to sit over here then.
Need to definitely layer in this room.
Goodness.
Take it off.
Toughen up. I'm just kidding. I was freezing last time. I was gonna say, wait a minute, that's a different story than the executive room.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Welch. Dr. Welch. Well done. Kids were excellent. Moving right along. At the September board meeting, I passed out the goals. I don't know if you have them with you this evening. If not, I have copies I can pass around for you. And I believe I did. I just want to make sure. I think I could pass this around. So we had input from, actually, Vince, can you pass one back? Because I have mine. Just pass me back one. No, you don't have the same thing. You do, okay. Mine are just all color, and I'm like, they didn't get the different ones. Mine are all color. Okay, obviously Ms. Wooten at the last meeting went through a lot of our student data, and we had conversations about our Smarter Balance scores and earmarking realistic percentiles to have as goals to increase in the math and ELA portion of that assessment at the lower grades. So with the state, as part of how we're measured by the state of Connecticut, they put out what they feel are realistic goals. So we're kind of looking at that as our gauge moving forward, and they project us out for the next 20 years, correct?
Absolutely. The year 2930 right now. So what, and I'm going to jump in.
2030.
2930. The year, the
20
year 2029.
Oh, I was going to say, what's 2030?
Okay, I heard 2930.
Right, I don't know that, I don't know that. So, we got it.
Just me though.
So we have a long way out to look with what the state has said to us.
About 9 years.
About 9 years. Percentages to set our goals towards increasing. We're obviously going to try to surpass what they're doing. We've injected a great deal of time and energy. The administrative council meeting on Wednesday was primarily focused around student data and outcomes, and everyone being on the same page and working together so that we can start this process of shifting. We're realistic in what our goals are, and I'll say as a superintendent, data and student testing is one portion of the education for me personally. My philosophy, my belief, I would never want to be a part of a district that put too much emphasis on just one portion of the makeup of the whole child. Student data is important, testing is important, but in no way, shape, or form determines the success that a student will have that has a work ethic, that is an overachiever, that challenges himself or herself every single day, that goes back and works with our staff to put themselves in a position to be who they want to be and do what they want to do. And it's important for you to hear that from me. I want our kids to surpass state goal. I want our kids to do extremely well, but I don't want to lose focus and sight of what's really important for our children. And having the young leaders here today, listening to them speak about their experiences of changing the world and being a part of something at this level is something that we should all embrace and all look to while we're talking about student achievement. So that being said, Tracy, I know you had your curriculum piece before. The first two parts for my goals were the younger levels with Smarter Balance, and then looking at the high school with the PSAT and SAT. And we're doing a lot. We're looking to align the schedules for the middle school and high school with obviously the same start and end times, but then a mirror schedule where we're going to be able to send staff members back and forth across that bridge to offer more opportunities for our students. And I truly believe that we're going to see great gains when we start doing that and having kids have more opportunities because of the collaboration in the schedule. I don't know if you have any specific questions about the first two goals and those numbers. We're going to be giving you data checkpoints throughout the year. Tracy will give you, as we do Smarter Balance, every 3 months or when, as
Our benchmarking.
our benchmarking, how our kids are doing. And we're getting it down to where we look at teachers and students. And you have to understand, as a classroom teacher, a former classroom teacher, and I'll speak to Beth too, the makeup of your class changes every year. The personality of your class changes every year. And there's some years where some of your classes that you think are not going to meet the expectation, they exceed the expectation because of intrinsic things that it's really hard to identify. And then there's years when you have a group that you're like, wow, I thought we were going to get further along with them in the year. And that's just the nature of what we do. So that being said, the administrative staff has embraced this. They know the importance of it. Their goals are going to reflect my goals. They're going to reflect what's up on this board for the 3 pillars that we feel are most important. And that's safety and security. That's growth outside of academic arenas. And being, as we heard tonight, compassionate, caring members of our society. Any questions for the first two before I go on to?
Well, I just have something. Thank you. I do believe in the whole child, and one of the things I know that a lot of townspeople want, they want the test scores up. Better for like people wanting to come to our school system. And I did look at the testing that was given to us at the last meeting, and I was looking at the towns, and East Haven, North Haven, about the same amount per pupil as us, a little bit more. But I was looking at even the percentages, and North Haven, I was looking specifically at North Haven, the jump from us to them. And at the curriculum meeting, I was talking to Tracy about what was going on. And she had said that North Haven was doing the readers, writers workshop, both of them. And that's what helped their scores to jump. So I feel good that we're getting into that maybe that will help us and the scores will go up. And she also helped to explain that the numbers that you put in here were guidelines from the state.
Right.
So that made me feel better. So.
Good. And, we've looked at North Haven's middle school schedule. We've examined the content time in the areas that are tested. And now with this new schedule, we're looking at increases in time on task in those areas, and then flex time where there are students who are not meeting goal or not achieving at a rate that we're comfortable with, that they can get pull-out opportunities to do more defined work in those areas. So there's a lot of hard work going on. We had, I think, 40 plus teachers do the Reader Writer workshop this summer for
All, 95% of all of K-5, and then
K-5.
additional 6th grade teachers.
And the teachers that I talked to thought they loved it. They really enjoyed going through that process.
I absolutely agree, and honestly, if we could do it every year, we will.
So we've invested a lot in this, and we think it's going to pay dividends. So we had the conversation about world language, and we're kind of at an interesting point in our conversations with the two schedules, and we're looking at the high school right now, and I know there was a comment made, I think it was Ms. Rice that talked about possibly Italian, so at the middle school. So we're looking at and I probably should have turned the camera off just for a second. I'm just joking. If we were to look at giving 7th graders the opportunity for choosing between Italian and Spanish, and then in 8th grade carrying that same thing, or switching to one or the other, we'd have to figure that out. They would then go into their freshman year with the 1 credit of either Italian or Spanish. Our Italian numbers have been on the decline, so we're thinking if we go at an earlier level, give them a choice, give them 2 years of exposure to it, give them the opportunity to earn that credit. We could build that up. So that's what we're looking to do right now for 7th grade. We have 8th grade full Spanish right now.
So, but this is for next year.
Yes.
I will say for if you start Italian younger too, my son switched to Italian. He's a freshman and he switched to Italian, but it was really hard because he had to give up that year of doing Spanish. So if you did start it younger, I think you might get more kids who start with Italian and stay with it, because switching up and giving up what you studied, it was hard.
So that's a word. You'll hear more about that, but that's the way that we are thinking right now. Increased student opportunities. We've talked about the STEM offerings and Project Lead the Way. We're currently, we have another advanced placement course that's going to be offered at the high school because of a new math teacher that we have that's certified and trained to teach that. Mr. Steffer, that's...
You guys do macroeconomics. We also have a proposal on the board from social studies for AP American Gov.
Right.
That'll come your way in this way shortly. So we could be adding 2, and we're bringing back AP Music Theory because now we have the teacher trained that was really hired recently in AP Music Theory. So next year we'd be adding 3, 1 returning AP course and 2 brand new ones.
So we're also looking through Project Lead the Way for bioengineering. We'd have to send a teacher out this summer to do that, but with now the interest in the health sciences and the opportunities in STEM, be it nursing or biomed, the whole biomed field, we're looking at the potential for bringing that on through Project Lead the Way, and we do have a science teacher at the high school who's very interested in teaching that. There's also the talk of, with this new schedule, the push of Project Lead the Way going down to the middle school and getting more kids involved with the engineering at the middle school so that they have that opportunity to be exposed to that middle school curriculum as they move through. So that's ongoing. I've spoken a lot about the manufacturing. We're a little behind Wallingford right now with what they're doing and Milford. But we have a wonderful opportunity with Honeywell right here and some other sponsorships to teach kids and to incorporate manufacturing into our curriculum. And we've been working with the economic development director here in town, Roger Solway, and he's been out pounding the pavement trying to get corporate sponsorships and interest here in the town. And I think there'd be such a boon if we can bring that in, coupled with our hands-on programs that we have in technology, to add a manufacturing component, which could be welding, advanced welding. Electric Boat is putting up a $790 million facility right now for a new series of submarines that haven't been built. And they have work for the next 20 years, and they can't find enough skilled workers to go in and fill that void. So we're right there in the backyard with Sikorsky and General Dynamics to give our kids a real leg up coming out of high school that are non-college bound, with a great career and a great opportunity. So that's some of the things that we're talking about, the college choice aspirations, and we're going to delve into where our kids are applying, where they're getting in, financial aid, more assistance, extended assistance with bringing increased opportunities to kids who may not be able to afford or want to go to those schools.
I know they say it's expensive, but kids get accepted. You go to the financial aid department, and if they'll work with you to make it affordable.
Right.
So it's an opportunity.
We're on that. Communication, you'll see that with the board through emails and follow-up and things like that. That was something that we were looking to improve upon. The last one was the food services, and I know that Ms. Bauer-Holzer and Mr. Norfio were going to do some site visits to schools, and we were going to get you into our cafeterias and share with you what's going on in our menus and our, what we're doing, and then take a couple of local site visits. So you do not have to vote on these.
Scott, can I don't mean to interrupt,
Sure.
but I noticed that my goals didn't make it on this for some reason. Was there a reason why?
Can you tell me what your goal
Mine was to add the budget to the minutes, and my other goal was if you went to any town meetings wanting to spend money, that we would just be notified that you're attending, and we went into the, an example was the community the community center meeting that you went to for the tent, like you wanted an example, so I gave you that, but I don't
See, that's really not a goal. I mean, if you're saying you want me to add the budget, we can add the budget to the.
Okay.
So say that again, what you wanted to add?
So I wanted to add the budget to our minutes.
Budget.
So whatever we get from this, like if you could just add this to the minutes, I would appreciate it.
So clarify when you say add the budget.
Put it in with our minutes. So this would go in with our packet.
Into your packet.
After we have the meeting. So,
Yes.
so next
So
meeting.
this would go into
Our minutes at the next meeting that we approve.
Correct.
Not,
So there would be
not
a month
before
behind.
we've actually
Right.
sat down and met.
But that's to the board packet.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
it's for people that are asking, like, just so we have more transparency with, you know, just with the town too, because I know people ask me about the budget, I'm like, oh.
And Scott, also in the communication, just what's, I mean, we have minutes, but I know a letter was sent home at TVS that Carter addressed a bullying issue, and it went out to the whole school and it was shown to me, but I knew nothing about it. I know bullying goes on,
No.
but it was so maybe extensive that the whole school had to get a letter. So I mean, that's the kind of thing that maybe we could also be informed
If I
about.
would get a copy of that, I would share it with you.
Oh, so he didn't.
So there's letters that go out from individual schools that wouldn't rise to the level of me being made aware of a letter like that. So, I mean, they send a million communications
Well, your
out.
communications, but if it was about bullying, and if that is so pervasive that it had to go out to the whole school, then I think, wouldn't that have gone up to you, that there was a definite problem?
Yes, I can clarify that. So it wasn't about a specific case, it was general behaviors that we were seeing towards kids. We were talking to parents about educational steps, things that we were talking to fifth grade students in particular about how to be allies, how to stand up for each other in situations, not be bystanders. So it was general information. We wanted to be transparent about that and to encourage conversations at home, the same kinds of conversations we were having. It was nothing related to a specific incident.
Okay, it's just that sometimes people come up and say, this is what I got, what's going on, you know, and I don't
Just
know.
encourage them to come see you.
That's the best advice. Don't engage. That's not your role.
Right, I
So
understand.
don't, yeah.
But,
So,
okay.
if it rises to the level that I'm involved, it's usually with outside agencies getting involved, or there's something that was school-related, discipline-wise, or if it's something that's related to East Shore Health or something, I'm always going to include you on it. But something like that could go out for any number of things. I wouldn't particularly be aware of it. Okay? All right. Tracy, I think you're up. Let's come up with.
So, this kind of goes in with my committee meeting as well as November PD, so they'll really all be combined discussion. As Beth had alluded to during our discussion, we spoke about Readers and Writers Workshop, some of the work that's being done there, and at K-12, at K-5 for Readers and Writers Workshop, Readers Workshop at 6-8, as well as illustrative mathematics at 6-8, and the new math curriculum, which in the K-5 is very similar to illustrative mathematics, meaning that it's very deep conceptually, it encourages student discourse, and really starts to talk about some things that instead of just learning rules, students are understanding why and the concepts behind algorithms. So not only is that what we're doing in our school, but it stands to reason that that would also be what's happening in our PD and our professional development. In order to support our teachers with these new initiatives, that's what we will focus on in professional development in November, as well as NEASC and NGSS for Next Generation Science Standards, NEASC at the high school for their bicentennial.
Collaborative visit.
Collaborative
this
visit.
November of 2021.
So that they will be prepared for that. We actually just got sent part of the self-study from Mr. Sutler, so thank you. We are making sure that our teachers are prepared to implement these new initiatives that we're spending an incredible amount of money on to make sure that our students have the best and our teachers have the best.
Nice.
PD.
So, as I mentioned, PD is kind of wrapped up in that. Obviously, anything that we're buying, we need to provide professional development. And much of our conversation and curriculum meeting, subcommittee meeting today focused on me discussing supporting teachers and the need for it. And with our expectations of increasing test scores and going to new programs that we know are going to stretch and challenge kids, is that our teachers need to be supported. And how we do that is through professional development. We have coaches in the district. There's a very limited number of coaches that are probably at a 1-to-50 ratio, which is not the best, but obviously these are professional development time, the half-day Wednesdays, and November. In addition to the math and language arts programs that I mentioned, we will also be working on next generation science standards, which are fairly new, adopted in the last few years. The social studies framework, which is the C3 framework, which has also been newly adopted, or I would say suggested by the state. It's not really standards, so they're not adopted, they're more suggested. And all of that stuff will be done in our buildings by our coaches, outside preventers, and by expertise within the district.
So that's the 4th and the 5th.
Yes, 4th and 5th, November 4th.
So because we won't meet till after that, the board meeting, can you just send it to the board?
I absolutely will. And we also have people going out. So on the 5th, obviously the 5th is not only a regional, but a state professional development day for most districts. And we have regional things happening. So we have our physical education teachers going out, our career and tech people going out. They're going to state conferences. Many different people are going to some of those things as well as everything inside. Once it's done, or once I have all of the times and everything completed, I will send you schedules from all the buildings.
Perfect. We need a signature. Were there any questions on PD? You don't have it in front of you, so I'm sure there's not. We'll send that out so you know what everyone's doing over those 2 days. We need to have a motion made to add my name and Martha's to the ability to sign the ED 099 for reimbursement. So I'm sure you're going to support it. We're getting money back on it, so if somebody could read the...
I'd like to make a motion to designate Scott Schoolmaker and Superintendent of Schools and Martha Vaughn, Director of Personnel and Business, as authorized signers for the State Department of Education Child Nutrition Program.
Second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Vice Chair Nafrio?
Yes.
Secretary Sienna?
Yes.
Jana Balsamo?
Yes.
Carolyn Candelora?
Yes.
Vincent Mace?
Yes.
Cynthia Rice?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Item K, the high school renovation project under Exhibit E. It's really hard to read, it's really small.
Couldn't make it
I know. In the meeting prior, that we had tonight for operations, I will get some dates out to you if you want to be interviewed by them and come in and talk about the project. But it already started this past Monday. There were tours. Bill Chody had tours of the high school all day, and they went through every inch of the building. So I'll keep you updated as we get into this process. But as you see under Exhibit E, it's really heavy in November, and then a lot of presentations December into January, and then they look to go to referendum in April, and if it goes through, to put grant applications through in June if we have the town support and we have board support and town council support. So they lay the whole thing out from start to finish, and obviously along the way, you know, this can change.
So if everything moves forward on this timeline
Yeah.
and the grant application goes out in June, when would the rebuild start or renovation?
Probably a year and a half out. No,
Oh.
it would be out a ways. It's quite a process, and from start until finish, it could take 7 to 8 years.
So potentially not until 2021 would be the potential
Shovel in the
Start,
ground.
shovel in the
ground.
Yeah, because it goes up to the state and they evaluate, and then they look back and give us guidance, direction, or they accept it, and then it starts after that following year.
Thank you.
Okay. The Bloom Shapiro feasibility study is for the consolidation. We have interviews going on next Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be meeting in central office one day with all staff, and then I go over to town hall on Wednesday and meet over there for a couple of hours. So I'll keep you updated on all of that. This is the very beginning of this. Okay. I mentioned last time the 26th is community roundup, so we give a shout out to that, and anyone can come out and support it or make a donation, greatly appreciate it. And that's it for me.
Thank you.
welcome.
We move on to committee reports, negotiations. We need to go to executive session. Budget and operations. Ms. Thorne is on. Okay.
Well, what I shared with Martha, that for tonight, if you just review what was said, and then she can just
Okay,
add to it,
absolutely.
only because
Sure.
I blindsided her and said, oh, no, you didn't say anything on your first, no, you're
have to
okay. And now
Okay,
she's,
good.
I wanted to be here tomorrow, I don't want you to scare her away after tonight.
That's totally fine. We had a budget meeting before, and we had an update, and we're still in good shape. She made the font a little larger and colorful, so that was quite helpful. But we're going to be making a lot of changes to the budget, to the monthly budgets, and Carolyn had asked that it be posted in the minutes, and I think that's great. And we have some programs that we aren't using to the fullest extent, which will make this process a lot more transparent. So we're looking forward to that. We have to give her some time. We have to give her some time to get adjusted, and there's going to be a lot of training for central office staff and secretarial staff, so everybody learns how to, with the secretarial staff that helps the administrators with the budgets, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'll be some nice changes and a little bit more streamlined and transparent, and I think that
Easier to follow.
will make a lot of people at ease. It might make things a smoother transition when we go to budget time with the town council and whatnot. So we're really looking forward to it. And we welcome you and good luck.
So we spoke earlier about November training for Alio, our system that we use for our financial book. So the good news is that we're starting the process early, and that over time we're going to see some systemic changes to how we've been operating, and a lot of improvements. So we're excited about that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so curriculum. Does anybody have anything else to add?
I'm going to add it. I don't really know if it's appropriate, but I will anyway. Tracy is implementing the reading writers workshop for the middle school, and I just kind of want to do maybe like a little shout out to the teachers, because as Jen and I pointed out, change is not easy. So for her to come in and say this is what we're going to do, I just want to give the teachers a pat on the back and just let them know how appreciative I work. I mean, granted, it's just a nursery school, but I work with kids, and I get change, and I get, I just kind of understand in a different entity, I guess. So I just want to thank them and just say hang in there, and hopefully in like 2 or 3 years when this all becomes second nature, they'll enjoy it. But I know change isn't easy, so.
Yeah, we have to give time with change. It doesn't happen overnight,
And they just got a new class, it's like teachers constantly change. It was said earlier, you think you're gonna have one class and you just never know. So you come in September with brand new kids, and then you also come in with a brand new way of teaching, and I can empathize with them, but hang in there.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Jana, anything?
I went to the ACES meeting, and of course I forgot my notes. So what the majority of the meeting was about, when I started about a year ago on their board, they were talking bold steps. They're looking internally to see how they could better themselves as far as communication, staff development, so aspects of their daily running. And so we've gotten to the point where they've implemented the bold steps. They're reviewing it, and the data's coming back. They did a survey about what if you could have anything, what to the staff, what would you need, what would you want us to become, and they're getting that data back. And so they're just constantly looking and trying to reevaluate to make themselves a better institution and more smoothly running. So that was basically the majority of what our meeting was about. So.
Well, thank you for continuing to go to those, because I know that committee's really hard for most of us. So thank you.
There was a wellness meeting. I didn't attend it, but it was October 1st, correct?
I don't know the date off the top of my head. I believe that's right around there.
Yeah, I can give you a quick update on that.
Sure.
We talked a lot about focuses for the year. Michael Auger talked about food service and some of the audit processes that we went through this year and some of the things those entail, as well as looking at the wellness policy. We've done that, I believe, 3 years ago. So that was part of the group's focus to look at that, make any recommendations to changes in terms of the guidelines. We spent a lot of our efforts talking about each school's effort during the year, the wellness fairs that we'll do in each building, some of the things that we're doing for staff wellness, for student wellness. And then the bulk was around kind of what would be our theme and focus for the year. So I think we're really looking at anxiety as an area of focus and trying to do some parent education around that, some student education. Dr. Noel had some recommendations for things that we can do with students as well as staff. So that'll kind of be where we're headed.
Great, thank you.
And then the next meeting is December 3rd.
All righty, thank you. Policy.
So at the last meeting, I reached out to Shipman, and they have sent 10 policies for review. So we sent them back in Word form. They are going to do their markups like they similarly do with 2 different colors. They're going to complete that, get them back to us, and then we'll have our first meeting when I get those back. So I'm thinking, he sent this back to us on Tuesday, October 8th. And there's, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 that he was marking up for us to bring back. So as soon as that happens, it's Ms. Sienna and Mr. Mace who will sit on that committee.
Yeah.
So I'll get back to you both, and we can kind of look at a time. And then obviously Ms. Vaughn will be joining us now and starting the process.
And when we do put it in the pack, make sure the board gets all the colored, because it's easier to read and
Yeah,
understand.
no, they'll send it the same way
Okay.
that they've been
Is there a
doing.
way of getting that like sooner than like 2 days before?
It's up to the law firm when they send them to us. So as soon as they get them to us, they'll go out.
So it doesn't necessarily need to be attached to our packet, because I get this like 2 days beforehand, so to try to read all that within 2 days.
If I get it tomorrow, I'll send the 10 policies out to you tomorrow.
Okay,
So it won't come with the board packet.
Okay.
As soon as I get it, I'm going to
Thank
ship it
you.
out to all of you.
okay, thank you, I
Then if you
appreciate
give
it.
me input when we meet.
Well, then you're going to come together.
Right, so
Yeah.
if anybody has input
Yeah.
for it, then I can bring it to the policy meeting with Vincent.
And I think for the first one, we'll do a conference call
Okay.
with Chris Tracy, the attorney, because Martha's new, and that way we can kind of,
Oh, it's not in Littlefield anymore?
well, she's moved it over to Chris Tracy.
Okay, when does that policy meeting, when does that?
No,
What
they
we
haven't
want
done it.
until we get back the
Okay.
10 marked up policies. Once we get that back, I'll get them out, we'll get a date,
Got it.
and then we'll
Okay.
arrange for Chris Tracy just to walk us through the first one.
Okay.
Because it's going to be Martha's first time going through it. All right?
Yep, thanks, Scott.
No building committee meeting, no communication meeting. Visitors and press? No? Okay, go to the board.
I was invited to the 20th Annual Shoreline Musical Festival. First time I went, and 12 different districts, 250 kids. They had 2 rehearsals to get all these kids coordinated for the choir and the band, and it was phenomenal. Kudos to all the teachers from all the different schools for
Very
their
nice.
hard work. This was a fantastic program.
Large number of North Branford kids.
Yes, yeah, I saw a lot of,
Yep.
yes.
Nice. Anybody
They're
else?
doing really well.
I went to the internet safety with Scott Driscoll at Carter, I believe. Was it you that funded it or got money for it? So I would like to thank you. And again, it was a very educational meeting or workshop or whatever, presentation. It's just amazing. I've gone, this is like the 3rd time I've seen him, and I get something new out of it every time. Now I have a child who's going, applying to colleges, so I had questions from that. Like you have questions when they're little, and then you have questions when they're in like middle school, and now that they're looking to become like real human adult people, you have other questions. So I highly recommend anybody if he comes back to go see, you can never get enough of it because you're always at a different mindset with your kids. Your kids are always growing, so the dangers on the internet are always growing, and it's always different apps. And like last time I went, they didn't have Fortnite. So thank you for putting that through. Appreciate it. It was a good night.
I went to a high school open house for the parents, which was great. I felt like I was back in school again because I went to North Branford, so to walk in the halls again. So it was a good night. So.
Good.
Do you have something?
I have nothing.
Oh, okay. All right.
You're looking at me.
Okay. I got nothing. Somebody want to make a motion to go to executive session, please?
I'll make a motion to adjourn to executive session as per section 1-225 of the Connecticut General Statutes as permitted by section 1-200, 6B and E of the Connecticut General Statutes to discuss agenda items XA, negotiations, unaffiliated employees, and arbitrators board.
Second. All in favor? Aye. The next regularly scheduled Board of Education meeting is Thursday, November 21st, 2019.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor? Aye.